How can we make the world better? By making ourselves better. The Dr. Joe Show explores how you can make positive personal change by using his groundbreaking and highly effective I Am approach to understand who we are and why we do what we do. Your small changes can have big effects.
Join us now for the Dr. Joe Show with Mark Stiles of Stiles Law and your host, Dr. Joe Schrand.
Hey, hey, hey. It's the Dr. Joe Show and Friends. The Dr. Joe and Friends Show here on WATD 95.9 South Shore Everything Broadcast House live tonight in his house. Dr. Joe and Friends. That's it. Dr. Joe and Friends.
Dr. Joe and Friends.
What do you think, Larry? Dr. Joe and Friends? You like that one? Do you have any?
Do we have any friends? Is that what you're asking?
Dr. Joe and them. Dr. Joe and them.
Them be Dr. Joe.
Them be Dr. Joe?
Well, no, they can't really, can they? I mean, I suppose genetically.
Dr. Joe and Friends. I like it. I like it. Why not?
Well, because people get used to one name, but you're right. Why not?
Well, the Dr. Joe Show's a problem, though. We know that. There's a Dr. Joe Dispenza who's got many million followers, and he's got the brand. So
he does.
Dr. Joe and Friends, that's everybody, right?
Yeah. We could call it the Dr. Joe and a few other people coming on the show every now and then, and
that
friends.
Gets hard.
It does. TJIF, Dr. Joe is friend? No.
And friends. Ampersand.
Ampersand.
Is that what it is? An ampersand?
An ampersand.
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 Chat
ampersand.
Jump
in this
in the
case,
chat
it could be an
and ask
ampersand. I like that. What do you think of that? Dr. Joe ampersand.
Yes.
Friends.
Really hard to remember, though.
Yeah,
not like smooth, not quick off the tongue.
No.
Dr. Joe and Friends, though, like every friend was once a stranger.
We are going to be talking about what you accomplished for so many people last weekend with the Pan Mass Challenge.
So this is the Afterburn episode.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
We've got three amazing human beings here in the studio as well.
Did
you know that?
I see four.
Oh.
Right?
You counting
fifth.
you?
No.
Oh.
I'm counting you, Mark Stiles of Stiles Law. And you're doing your Friday show tomorrow.
Feel Good Friday, yep. We're going to talk about some updates with Josie AI.
Okay.
Which is really cool.
Let's tell me what happened and how was it over the weekend. And
so it was beautiful.
Yeah. Weather was great, wasn't it?
Yeah. And I want to jump right into the introductions so that we can all share experiences together, right?
Yes.
It's not the Mark Show. It's the Dr. Joe and Friends show, right? So to my left, Judson Hill, who was here pregame, also talking about what his expectations were. So it'll be really interesting to hear this amazing cyclist and fundraiser share what his expectations were versus the day. And then next to him, we are super grateful to have once again here on the Dr. Joe and Friends show, the finest educator this town has ever had in its blessed, sacred school, teaching, turning on lights, and really making impact in our community. And on Pan Mass for his 40th year, raising tons of money, Steve Weisgerber. And Jimbo O'Leary is back again, similar to Judd, with the Afterburn episode after the pregame. So I'll leave it to you, Dr. Joe, to throw out those questions and let's have some fun.
Well, I first thank you so much for being here tonight. Dr. Joe and Friends. These are good friends. What was it like? Who wants to start? Judd?
It was...
move the mic right over to you, and we're going to move back.
The weekend, definitely surpassed expectations. The weather, the camaraderie, and the overall vibe.
Yeah. Let me back up. Just for some folks may just be tuning in, weren't listening last week. Great. Tell me what is Pan Mass Challenge and the mission?
Yep. So it's a 2-day bike ride, and every rider that participates agrees to a certain fundraising limit, and the raised money is for cancer research and to support people throughout the Commonwealth and basically throughout the world through the life-saving work that the Dana-Farber ecosystem does.
Yeah.
And, you really were introduced to that and reminded of that throughout the whole weekend. And certainly on the road, like on Saturday, pulling into one of the water stops along the way, there were, pedal partner photographs of young kids. And unfortunately, there were a lot of them.
Mm.
But, you're sitting there and it's a long day and you're thinking, poor me. And you see the photos of those people and you're reminded, of what it's all about. So, it was a challenge, but so rewarding on so many levels.
And how many miles is it, the ride?
It's 190, I believe, a 2-day ride.
Wow. And you guys all completed it?
Yes. Yeah, with smiles and a lot of laughter and some anxious moments. But just traffic-wise, you're really a giant amoeba on the road, and as the amoeba moves in and out of intersections, you have some, or can have some tense moments. Mm-hmm. But it's all part of the experience.
Is that what you say? Say it's me. It's amoeba. It's me.
Johnny had a little scared, didn't he? On the bridge going over in the morning.
Yeah, he did.
Jimbo, pull it up close. Yeah. So this is Jimbo O'Leary.
One of the cooler experiences we have is riding over the Bourne Bridge the morning of the second day. There is some tense moments though, because when you drive over in a car, you probably don't realize that there's like a nice hill or pitch to the bridge. Mm. But when you're on the bike, you realize it because you're working hard. Unfortunately, there's a lot of people going over at the same time, and it's really amazing if you ever watch the Tour de France where you see the peloton where they have these people biking all out, going faster than we typically sprint, and they're like inches from each other. And there are crashes, but they do this typically more often than not in a safe distance. But we're going over in this nice slow distance, and there's inevitably some white knuckle moments where someone stops and everyone's just locking up the brakes, and you gotta pull your feet out of the.
It requires cooperation, like complete utter cooperation. Like you're going so slow, you're almost standing still, but yet you're moving so slowly. I mean, the symbolism is it's unbelievable. And the 30-inch sidewalk right there, if I hit that, then I'm in trouble. Mm-hmm. I'm going to take out the whole row. Mm-hmm. So it's tense. And somebody bumped into Johnny, right?
Someone bumped into John, and he went over. And,
what?
Yeah. So.
Oh no!
And then there's cars going by too.
Right.
That doesn't stop.
Yeah, there's one of those instances where we clip into the pedals, which is great for when we're riding. But when you're going slow, you gotta be ready to get out of them at any moment, or you're gonna be like someone who's stuck on their snowboard and defenseless. You're just going straight down. You can't really.
It's actually what happened to Joe Biden. When he was out biking on vacation, and people were actually making fun of him falling. Like that's happened to all of us.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
If you're going too slow and you're clipped in, and you can't unclip. You're just going to timber over.
Huh. Yep. Did you just support Joe Biden?
No.
I
didn't not support him. As a person, I support him.
Yeah.
No.
So it sounds like there's a lot of anxiety to be born.
I think
on
so.
the bridge.
I think so. I think
anxiety.
That's the 40-year guy.
That's the Bourne Bridge. Anxiety to be born on the bridge. But go on. No,
it's a combination of a very exciting moment,
and you're getting the sunrise on the canal right after that too. It's unbelievable.
In years past, there used to be someone who sit there and play the bagpipes while we were going. So.
The bagpipes
were not there on that day.
And bagpipes are often to announce sometimes not always some wonderful things, but very often they're spiritual, they're inspiring, and I think it would be great to have bagpipes to introduce our sponsors. I don't think we have them, but we will introduce our sponsors tonight. So let's take a commercial break, and we'll be right back with these remarkable riders of Pan Mass.
Hey folks, thank you for listening to the Dr. Joe Show. We've been investigating whether or not we want to bring sponsors into our podcast. What are your thoughts? Do you know somebody who might be a good partner with the Dr. Joe Show, who may want to align their product or service with the Dr. Joe Show? Think about it.
Oh, we're not back yet? Are we back? Oh, we're back.
We're back.
It's Dr. Joe and friends here at WATD 95.9, your South Shore everything. Football season's coming up, folks, so if you want to be part of that, call the sales team and be part of that football program that they've got upcoming this fall. They always do such a great job, Quinn Kelly and his crew, and
It's
amazing,
great.
amazing. Speaking of athletes.
Yes. Who would you like to talk with next, Mark Stiles?
Who or what are we going to talk about?
Well, we're talking about Pan Mass Challenge, and we're talking about the experience of riding bicycles to help those strangers who you will never meet, but still are giving to all of this. This is a remarkable part of who we are as human beings. I love this part of being human.
What a great call out right there. We were talking about right before the commercial, going up the Bourne Bridge. Somebody had that exact same sign. I've seen it over the years in various places, but it's thank you. We are super grateful for you, complete stranger.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, thank you, complete stranger. I want to hear from the veteran rider of 40 years, Steve Weisiger, of why he does it year after year after year.
It's really been 40 years that you've been riding, Steve? How
Rounding.
many?
Well, 38.
Rounding, spillage, rounding errors. Come on,
But
it's
you know
fuzzy
what?
math.
You can
40.
Just
Right.
move it up a little bit. That's
Totally.
Yeah,
fine.
well, it'll be 40 in 2 years,
Right.
Because we never really stop riding, right?
Right.
I mean, we don't sort of end this process, and like some people just stop doing the Pan Mass, but then there are a lot of people who, once they get bit by the wonder of the weekend, they just really stay with it.
How did you get started on this 38 years ago?
So I'm 28. It's 1988, and a buddy of mine.
So you started when you were negative
when
10?
I was 9,
Oh, no.
and I rode like a big wheel.
Right.
And,
1988.
1988, and there were
Great year.
and there were 600 riders, and the minimum fundraising was $500, right? So, and those numbers,
Which was a lot back then.
which was a lot back then.
It's a lot
right?
now still.
Yeah.
I mean, for a lot of people.
And so he said, we just both got bikes, in our 20s, like, let's just get some exercise. And he said, there's this ride, let's go do it. So just for laughs, we decided to do it. And we saw what was there, and it was really pretty amazing, right? And it was small, and I guess it was well put together. I mean, for 1988 standards, it really was. For 2025 standards, it really wasn't.
They were 8 years in at that point.
And they were 8 years in at that point, right? And the first couple were really kind of shaky, but they continued to work it and make it happen, and more people sort of got involved in it. And we did the ride the first 2 years, and then in the spring of my third year, kind of getting ready for it, I got diagnosed with cancer, and it kind of took on a different feeling for me, and kind of solidified the thought that I would probably never give this up. And that first year, in August, after I got diagnosed in April, I rode, and the second year after going through another set of treatments, I rode, and then more and more people began to get involved. Like friends of mine got involved, and in 1991, 1992, members of my family got involved, and friends, and we had dozens of people doing it, right? Like there are dozens of friends that I have right now who do it. A little bit later on, a very close family friend had their 6-year-old son was diagnosed with leukemia. That brought in another group of people to do it. And so there's this sort of yin and yang kind of thing that goes on in which something terrible really happens. Right, but the good part about it, if there's a silver lining, is that more people begin to get involved, and so the numbers overall begin to grow. And fundraising continues to grow. It goes from making $10,000 to making $76 million in a weekend ride. And it is, as I think we all acknowledge, it is the best weekend of the entire year. And in a lot of ways, it's a weekend that begins on January 1st, when we kind of sign up for it and determine what ride that we're going to do, and then begin to think about our fundraising, begin to think about our training, and spend time together, and sometimes ride by ourselves and sometimes ride with others, and may go out 1 day a week, may go out 3 or 4 days a week, but we do the riding as part of the weekend, right? So it could be riding in May or it could be riding in July, but because it's for the riding in August. So every training that we do, and I see these guys, not nearly as much as I hope, but because I also ride by myself and I really enjoy that amount of time to get with myself, like you're thinking, this is a really special group of people who do really pretty amazing things, right? So, even looking at Marshfield Rams Cancer, the group that we all belong to, and looking at the amount of money that people raise, it's pretty phenomenal. It's pretty phenomenal. And this year, weather-wise, was as good as it ever was. Like there's never been a better weekend weather-wise, and in terms of the ride, it was similar.
So how much did Marshfield raise? Marshfield Rams?
I think they're trending for 200,000.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's so great.
So basically 30 people at 200,000 is about what the target and run rate is. Annually is typically around the same thing each year. Yeah.
And each of you know someone, or Steve, as you said, have actually experienced cancer. So are there particular people that you have in mind at times as you're riding? Judd?
So certainly, my mom, my 3 aunts, and my uncle all lost their battles with cancer. So, they were my thoughts. And then, obviously, everyone has, current friends and family that they may know that you think of. But along the way, with the weather being so good, the people were outside supporting us. I mean, it was amazing. All the way from Western Mass to Bourne, and especially the Cape. The Cape roads were just strewn with people. We're saying, I'm alive because of you. Thank you. It really, it's easy to think of, people, along the way. Really, and that's what they strive for. That's when he came up with the idea of the Pan Mass Challenge, that's what he was hoping for. And it certainly was, evidence, as Steve alluded to, this past weekend.
So I think Judd brings up the participation by the people supporting you. People think about how tiring it must be to ride like 190 miles on 2 days, but some people are sitting there all day screaming at people. That must be exhausting. Right. You know what I mean? And enthusiastically, happy about it, and yelling at tons of people coming by, screaming. I was like, that must be that's a job in itself.
Yeah.
Right. And there are, Judd had mentioned, the lead up to a water stop, the Pedal Partners water stop in Lakeville on the first day, with these posters that are, really nice posters of all these kids who are going through treatment. And riding is hard, but riding is actually really easy. It's the difficult part is what these people go through. The difficult part is what their families go through. The difficult part is having to come to an understanding about some of the limitations on life and how this research continues to grow. I mean, my wife is a nurse practitioner at Dana-Farber in the lymphoma clinic, and so the patients that she sees all of the time are evidence of the kinds of money that goes into the research that allows them to have a better outcome than they would have had 10 years ago or 20 years ago, or even when you think about what the Jimmy Fund was formed to do back in the 1950s, and the percentages back at that point that were so low, and now the percentages of success children who go through leukemia is really pretty phenomenal. And that's as a result of the money being raised. So our job is really pretty fun. I mean, we see these people who thank us for riding. I thank these people for volunteering. I thank these people for coming out and cheering us on. I thank them for their perseverance and for their grit and for their resiliency. You know, those are the impressive things. We ride a bike and we get peanut butter and jelly sandwiches made for us all weekend. I mean, that's easy.
Yeah, I can appreciate looking at that comparison, but what you guys do is phenomenal. Again, because you're helping people that need the help. Not everybody has that compassion. You know, and my guess is what you're saying is that every one of the riders and the people cheering you have this remarkable compassion. I mean, why can't we harvest more of that in the world, right?
There's 10,000 people who are involved in this. There's 6,000 riders. There's 4,000 volunteers. And you're not going to experience a better weekend with a better group of people. I believe in the wonder and the greatness of humanity as a result of this weekend. It carries me through for the remainder of the year. And we all have our stories, and we all carry, whether it's parents or relatives or friends or ourselves, we carry that. We carry that the entire weekend. We carry it the entire year. So every ride becomes like, okay, I'm going out today. Who am I thinking about today? And even as recently as 2 weeks ago, you know, when a person in the community was diagnosed, we all rallied around and rode for him, and, you know, to give him the strength that he needs for his battle through this. And we get strength from these people.
Yeah. Yeah, and again, I'm so honored. And also we're lucky enough here at the Dr. Joe Show, the Dr. Joe and Friends Show, the Dr. Joe and Me Show, I mean, me and Dr. Joe. The Dr. Joe, we also, have friends who support us, and those are our sponsors. And so I'd like to hear from them and thank them for their support, just as I'm thanking you for yours. We'll be right back with whatever our show is.
Hey, folks, welcome back. So any thoughts? Do you listen to other podcasts? Do you see how they do the sponsors? Is there a way that they're utilizing sponsors that you enjoy or you don't enjoy? I listen to SmartLess, and I really enjoy how the co-hosts share the voiceover for the product or service. It's really funny for the most part, but it's unique. It's them really endorsing. Does that work? What do you think? Are we home, Larry? Oh, we're back.
We're back, Mark.
Dr. Joe and Friends.
And everyone heard all of that. Sorry about that, guys.
Dr. Joe and Friends, right here on WATD 95.9. How about Dr. Joe and Others?
We could do Dr. Joe and Others. But everyone who's listening is a friend as well. So we appreciate all of you listening, both of you.
Both of you. Hi, Mom.
Remember one of Mark's original lines? How many people listen to the Dr. Joe Show? What was it? Between 4 and 5 million?
Yeah.
Right? Yeah, which could be
every week.
8 people.
Right.
Yeah, somewhere between 4 and 5 million. So what was it like for you? How many years is this for you?
11.
11 years.
11. Turn it to 11. And I'd like to say the weather was an 11 out of 10. I know Steve had mentioned that briefly. It was remarkable.
Yeah.
But my anxieties leading up to it. I was hurt. I was injured. I was not feeling myself, and I was super stressed out about it because I was thinking I shouldn't ride because if I do, I might hurt myself more. And so I was kind of like, what am I doing? But just do it, whatever. Like if you go out on a stretch, you go out on your.
If you go out on a stretcher, go out on a stretcher.
It's fine. Like you go in with your shield, you go out on your shield, right? Like that's the deal. And I saw a friend. It's a friend of my older sister's. I see him every year. It's so funny. Like somewhere on the road, somewhere throughout the weekend, I see him. And we're having lunch there Friday afternoon once we first arrived in Sturbridge for the last ride out of Sturbridge.
And I'm sitting at a table open because I, was disconnected with everybody. And boom, Paul sits down. I'm like, yo, early visit this year. He's like, I knew I was going to see you, and here we are. So I started to tell him, family friend, right? I'm like, dude, I'm kind of sweating this. Every morning I get up, it kills, blah, blah, blah. And he goes, stop talking about it. Don't breathe any more life into it. And I'm like, roger that. Turns out, it sucked in the morning. It was brutal, brutal.
The pain.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Once I started pedaling, it loosened it up, and it felt fine. It felt good, actually. And then it was, when you get off, it hurt. But it was like the same thing we've talked about, going up the hills, and it's like I'm out of shape, and I'm struggling, and it's like, this is terrible. And then it's this quick reframe of, but I don't have cancer. I'm not going through treatment right now. My family's not going through treatment right now. Like, I can do this. I can get on this bike. I just start pedaling, and once I start pedaling, then everything will be okay again.
Yeah. It's such an interesting psychology.
Totally.
In that way.
It's so Steve says it's the greatest weekend of the year. I agree with him, but it's a total roller coaster of emotions too. Like, you feel everything in 40. They're talking about the pedal partners, and I don't know that they fully explain for the listener what a pedal partner is.
Yes, what is that? A pedal partner.
So a pedal partner is a child who's going through treatment who matches with a team. So the team meets that child.
Oh, really?
Yeah, at
I'm
this
getting
lake.
chills. I'm getting chills just hearing about that. Wow.
So as you're leading up to, it's Lakeville High School, right? Or it's a regional high school. It's in Lakeville, and it's like this mile, long, slow grind up the hill, and next to you, as you're grinding slowly up this hill, you're seeing these pictures of these children with the name of their team and their name, and they're smiling and alive, and you slowly go up, and there they are in the tent. They're giving them gifts and all of the things, and it's like, gosh, I'm glad I had my sunglasses on because I was pouring,
Really?
Ugh.
You got all teary?
Yeah, every year.
Wow.
Every year.
Wow.
There's a lot of talking that goes on this ride. There's a lot of communication that happens. People who don't really know each other talk to each other along the way, and then we come up to this point, and it's a mile, right? And we don't, and then all of a sudden it gets really quiet.
And I carry a speaker off. All music. It's off. It is a pin drop.
So why is that? Why does it get so quiet?
Respect and honor, right?
And gratitude?
Yeah. I think it's prayer time for me.
Yeah.
For me, you're going by. I was, reading the names. Focusing on the person. And as the more and more it hits you, it's one every 10 feet. Leading, up to the stop. So you can't help but be emotional about it.
I read the names of every one of these children, and that's to speak in my head who they are. And that is the honor for them.
So they're not nameless in that way. They're not faceless.
One thing that you think about is all these kids' pitches, they all have smiles on their face.
Yeah. And that's Dana-Farber right there. And that's why, right? That's why we're raising the money. So that Dana-Farber can put a smile on that kid's face who's going through something that nobody should go through.
Yeah. And Steve, as you're saying, and everybody who's connected to that kid. Right? Just
exactly.
as your family probably was going through similar things as a...
Yeah, the gentleman that I had mentioned from Marshfield, when I talked to him and to his wife, was able to say to him, there are not only 30 people on Marshall Rams Cancer who will be thinking about you all weekend, but there's 10,000 people who will be doing the same thing. And the power of that compassion and that love and that serving, that's how I feel about it. There's a serving component of the weekend. That plays into my being able to get through the ride riding faster and longer than I have all year, and I think it plays into people feeling better. I know when I was going through treatment, that's how I felt.
You felt that way about other people helping you as well, and
people don't say they are, but they are.
Yeah,
right. That's the wonder of the weekend.
Yeah,
that's the hug it out. That's Rich Murphy. The power of what's above your shoulders. Doesn't matter where your cancer is, but are you maintaining this positivity? Are you sharing? Are you communing? Are you allowing the love? Are you receiving the love? Which, we saw Mike Timlin this weekend from the 2004 Boston Red Sox. We saw him, we talked to him, and, his best friend, Tim Wakefield, recently passed. His wife recently passed of cancer, and they kept it in a vault.
Yeah.
Didn't share it with anybody until Schilling mentioned it on the radio show 2 days before Tim died. And I never understood if the science, the research, everything is there. Let the people hug it out. Let them squeeze it out with love, because it seems to be superpower.
So why do you think that is? Why are some people so reluctant to share that they have this vulnerability?
I want to bounce that question right back on you, the shrink. Teach us, why? Because it goes way back. We've talked about this in the past. You're broken. You know, there's that mindset of, I don't want help. I don't want to be somebody's burden or charity or what have you. So we're gonna keep this on the down low. Right? This is between us. Don't tell anybody. What? Why?
The fear of being vulnerable. But also, there's a phrase, denial is not just a river in Egypt, right?
Yes,
That's
I
the
say
old
that a lot.
Psychiatry. But what about that? Because was there ever a moment, Steve, where you felt, I want to keep this to myself? I don't want people to know about it. I don't want to be either seen as vulnerable or like a charity case, or, people just feeling sorry for me. Was there ever
My
that
wife and I
moment?
came home and we told my parents, and we told her parents, and we told my siblings and her siblings right away. And the response that we got back was, let's just continue to do this. I had never had a thought about not sharing it with others. That was part of my ability to get healthy again.
Yeah.
And I think vulnerability is an incredible strength. I don't think it's a weakness at all.
I agree. But it's an interesting phenomenon. Many people. The other thought that comes to mind is, are there other events like this for other conditions? I mean, cancer
there's
is
an
one
MS
thing.
ride,
MS,
Alzheimer's ride,
diabetes, Alzheimer's.
Yeah, certainly there's all sorts of
Best Buddies,
charity rides, or any type of organization, throughout the country.
Again, I think it speaks to who we are as a species. Not just an individual human, but as a species, we want to be able to protect and support our own genetic material within that species. Because really, we share way more than we have difference.
right?
And yet there's some things that maybe are so stigmatized, people wouldn't want to support them. Or do you think that that's
What do you mean?
changed? Well, I'm just thinking, HIV, I can't imagine when it was first starting that people would say, well, let's do a communal bike ride to raise funds to help people with AIDS.
They did, like a New York to Boston
Not
ride.
right away. Not right away.
Right.
But eventually, yes.
Right.
But there are some things that are so stigmatized still.
And cancer probably was like that at one point.
Yes.
Right? Like leprosy.
Yes, it was. It really was. And I think maybe part of it was because there was no cure.
Right. So get away before you catch it.
Right, just in case.
Right.
Or, don't spend my resources, because what's the point of investing in you when you're not going to be able to give back to me later? And I'm so glad that we are moving away from that mindset. But that is still a major part of who we are, sadly, as human beings. We lump people into groups and we say, you're not worth my time. Steve?
so part of the weekend is, and I'm fortunate to be part of this group, is a community of riders called Living Proof. So there are people this year, 1,100 of the volunteers and riders who are part of this community, the Living Proof community. And these are people either going through treatment or have gone through treatment. The couple of years after I had gone through treatment, they were recognized only a couple of dozen. This is 1,100 of them right now. And, we sort of celebrate with a T-shirt, and we celebrate with a pin, and we celebrate with pats on the back and hugs and tears and laughter. And that has continued to grow over time, like the fundraising has, like the numbers of people have. So
it's just such an interesting phenomenon that, again, strangers are helping strangers, but this particular condition for me is fascinating because it's when the body turns against itself. And it just never made any sense because ultimately those cells need that body to survive, but they're killing the very thing that they need to survive. And sadly, there's a metaphor in that as well, because sometimes human beings do that. We don't recognize how important it is to have each other to support.
Right.
And to be supported by. And so we peripheralize and stigmatize. Part of this obviously is my work in psychiatry and addiction, and having seen, gratefully, a shift in the perception and in the support. But still, there's a lot of stigma still around psychiatry and addiction. So.
But it simply shows that we need each other.
Yes.
And that's the whole full circle with, Tim Wakefield's choice of keeping it to themselves.
Yeah.
Yet the research is there. We need each other. We need that support. Give me some of that love. Give me some of that oxygen. Let me receive some of that. And in return, that person who's delivering that value receives value back too. That's the PANMAS conversation that we talk about a lot. Is like, we're doing this for everyone, and evolution has allowed us to do it for ourselves. Yeah, because it feels good.
Yeah. Tim Wakefield,
love him.
Yeah.
R.I.P.
But I hate to say, but he clearly wanted to knuckle this out by himself. Oh boy. Sorry. But we do have so many people.
Pull back, huh?
I couldn't.
Did you know Dr. Joe's going to be in the National Pun Competition this year?
No,
yes, you are. What year are you going to finally do it? Because you will win.
Well, yeah, I appreciate your opinion.
Yeah.
But with that in mind,
did you know that? You only got one of these.
Well, you sure? Okay. Well. But you know what? I have more than one sponsor, which is really good.
Do you?
So let's hear. I hope so. Yeah. Wow. So let's hear from them, and we will not knuckle this out anymore. No curveballs. Let's go straight to the fastball to our sponsors, right down the middle of the plate, Larry.
Hey, welcome back. And again, we're super grateful for you listening to the Dr. Joe Show. If you have anyone that you think might be a good sponsor, shoot us an email at drjoepodcast@gmail.com. DRJOE podcast@gmail.com. Give us your thoughts about the show, too. We're wondering, are we talking to the trees, or are people really gaining value in this? Please let us know. Thank you again, and enjoy the rest of the show.
And we're back. It's Dr. Joe and friends here at WATD 95.9, your South Shore everything. Larry Justice on the wheels of steel. How you doing, Larry?
He's doing
awesome.
So I'm curious. So we've got about 10, 11 minutes left, right, for today. What were those last 10 minutes like after that long ride? I mean, do you start to get pumped, like realizing, hey, I'm almost there? I'm almost there? What is that like? Or is it
interesting how it's well.
I mean, I'm curious because you're saying how exciting it is, how
let
wonderful
everybody
it
else
is.
join this one.
Yeah.
Take a step back.
Certainly, you want it to end. It's been a long day.
Right. Right. Fair enough.
But The roads are beautiful. Where we're riding is gorgeous. The company is great. So, in that regard, you don't want it to end.
Yeah.
You know,
And it ends in Provincetown, right?
it ends in Provincetown.
So what? I mean, Provincetown is on the main strip there.
Yeah. So we hook around through the Race Point Beach up
Yeah.
through the dunes, and then we come back into the town.
Yeah.
And we were finishing at the Provincetown Inn. There's other people you can elect to finish at the monument itself.
Okay.
But and then with the 8 of us that we rode all day, we formed up as a team, and we let one of our riders' daughter, it was her first year,
She was on our show last week.
cross the line first,
Oh, love
as a
That's
salute to
so
her and her
great.
hard work.
Oh.
So that was special, and we really stayed together as a team. We supported ourselves, like Steve said. It started January 1 when we all signed up.
Yeah.
So the 8 months of work, that was the payoff. So the last little bit, there are a couple of hills, so you're still concentrating on making sure that you arrive in one piece, but you can sit back and enjoy the fruits of your labor.
I'm just curious, anybody use electric bikes? Are you allowed to use electric bikes or just regular bikes?
We did see e-bikes,
Yeah.
being utilized. They are different classifications.
Did people have any feelings about that, like you're cheating?
It's funny that you say that. So a friend of ours, longtime rider, got Lyme disease this summer, and he was like, "I'm not going to be able to ride. However, I think I'm going to ride with the e-bike." I'm
Okay.
like, and it's not like riding a moped.
No,
right?
no,
It's a
no.
pedal assist.
Yes,
It's
it
really
is.
what it
I
is.
have an
So,
e-bike,
so if you're
which I never
going
ride.
10, you can get going 12. If you're going 12, you could get going 14.
Yeah.
I see one in my future.
Okay.
No question. Because I'm not a cyclist. I'm a fundraiser who rides a bike.
Yeah. Just to go back to the question then, so the last 5-10 minutes, what's it like?
One of the things I'd say is might not be the 10, with 10 minutes to go, but when you're approaching P-Town, it's just kind of just like it's a really interesting a site, because you're perched up a little bit above, and then you see the ocean, you see it set down below you, and it's almost like, this is what we've been working on all this time, and you do have a really euphoric feeling. I have to say is it's interesting, there's an option to go straight to the town or go through the dunes, and I in prior years when I was not in as good a shape, I would take the turn into the dunes, and then in 10 minutes be like, "Why did you do that?" because it's hot and you're climbing and you're like, "Oh my." But this past year wasn't I think it was in a good enough shape that I was you just enjoy it because it's gorgeous scenery up there. But I think right when the last miles almost like a blur, because you're just like, oh, you know what I mean? As we talked about, we have the new rider that bring us in, and you're like, you know what I mean? Everything is kind of going in fast motion. You're just like, oh, we're finishing. And it's very cool.
So you come out of the last water stop in Wellfleet, and you kind of think, okay, well, I got Truro and I got P-Town, and then we're done. But it's really a pretty significant ride in the last 20 miles or so to get through. And
What makes it significant?
well, it's the hills, and it's
okay.
you're going in different directions, so the wind shifts quite a bit, and you're going through some dunes, and you're tired, right? I mean, this is the second day, and nobody slept well the night before. So you come in, you see the town line for Provincetown. You think, okay, well, I'm right there, and you still got about 3 miles until you have to, as Jimmy said, you have to make that choice. Do you turn and go through Province lands? And you go through Province lands. I mean, some people go the straight mile to get done, but you need to do that last. But then it's 5 miles, and it's 5 miles of very difficult, difficult riding, right? And but at that point, there becomes sort of a couple of different things. There's emptying the tank. See whatever you have left, you're going to give, because you don't have to get back on right away. And then there's a lot of reflection. There's reflection about who the people are that you're riding for, and the journey that you took to kind of get here, and why are we doing this? So So for me, and I know for my friend John, who was diagnosed 6 years ago and went through his own cancer journey, you know, we're not talking the last couple miles, and in some ways it's like that step up into Lakeville that we had talked about. It becomes our time. It becomes the group's time, and that's the really special part. So those last 10 minutes are very significant, I think, for everyone.
Mark, what about for you?
I think it's a really interesting way to end the ride, right? So it becomes like this one last brutal treatment, you know, this brutal ride of struggle and like, yes, I can. So the symbolism again is there, and it's so profound because it's like, boom, they can too, right? The fundraising, the research and development that Dana-Farber is going to deliver and sprinkle upon these people, they can too, right? And I can only imagine, you know, and it's interesting as I've been on the PMC journey is, you know, as I say these things, I'm like, am I going to jinx myself? You know, am I going to
What do you mean?
Get cancer by saying I don't have cancer? I don't have cancer, right? So it's like, but the symbolism of it is so profound that, you know, if I had cancer, God dog it, I would fight, you know? And I know these people are fighting every day. And Steve makes a really important distinction about the family, you know, like going up that hill in Lakeville, that often crosses my mind. I don't want it to. I want to shake it out of my mind. However, those kids are smiling. They're being treated well. They don't really know a lot of what's going on. Those parents do.
Yeah.
You know, and you see that mom walking through the parking lot with that child who doesn't have any hair, and it's just like, oh, goodness gracious.
And we're so happy for those children and those adults who have gone through it, who are still with us. But we can't lose the focus from those people who have died from this.
Yeah.
And part of what we do is to raise the money so that the research is done, so fewer of those families and those people go through what they had done. And that part becomes a really important part of the weekend as well.
I just want to add a population that you may not realize that you're serving, because when I was at MGH doing my psychiatry residency and my child psychiatry fellowship, we did psychiatric consult liaison to the PD ward, and watching the nurses and the physicians and the assistants caring for kids who may die. I mean, it was powerful. And part of what we did in the Psych CL was really more support the staff who were taking care of supporting the kids and the families. So there are many, many more people that you may not realize who you are helping in the profession, who are taking care of these kids and the adults who are dying of cancer. It is a tough job. So call out to them too. Shout out to them. Really.
It takes a special person.
Yeah.
And on Friday night, they shared a lot of the impact, a lot of the direct impact on what studies are being done and what is available because of this ride.
Yeah.
And can I throw a shout out
Please.
to folks, if you're hoping to participate and be part of this journey, there's an easy way to do it. You go on pmc.org. PMC.org, you search for a rider. We have James O'Leary here. We have Steve Weisgerber, W-A-I-S, Weisgerber. And we have Judson Hill in here. So PMC.org.
And Mark Stiles.
Search your rider. Thank you.
Yes.
James O'Leary, Steve Weisgerber, Judson Hill.
So you can still donate.
You absolutely can.
Yeah.
Up until what, October 1st? We're raising funds until?
Please do. Yeah. PMC.org.
Yeah. Thanks for allowing us to have this limited series, Dr. Joe. I really appreciate that. I'm super grateful.
I am grateful, too, for all that you've done. And thanks for all the people that you're helping. We'll be back next week with the Dr. Joe and Friends show.
Stuff.
Thanks, folks.